Hey, this and just on here, real quick talking about the Derek Carr signing with the Saints, and what's the outlook on that signing, and it was I think it's gonna be an underrated signing that people might not get to see the results of it till like towards the end of the next season, but what the Saints did was get a proven guy, and you know he I mean, if you just want to go on stats wise, he's thrown at least 20 touchdowns since 2019. Um his best touchdown season was 2015 where he threw 32, but ever since 2019 he's thrown at least 20 touchdowns, and he's a let me see, like a 2-for-1 guy. You know what I'm saying? This last season he was 24 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and the year before that he was 23 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and he had over 4,000 yards in every season up until last season. Like he from 2018 up until 2021, he threw for 4,000 yards as well. So, I mean, that's cool. That's numbers and whatever. Cause some of that could be he was on a lot of bad teams. They was trailing, so he had to get some yards on the back end. But just saying, as just going to the Saints or whatever, what the Saints had now. I would have liked to see how Jameis Winston would have played out the season. You know what I'm saying? Like as the starter, but he got hurt and he didn't never. He came back. Well, he been recovering ever since that injury that he had the other season. So you get Derek Carr. Derek Carr's for the most part he always suits up and he's relatively healthy. The fact that he's gonna be playing in the dome is gonna help him. And then you look at the people that he's gonna throw to, aside from you know because uh he had Devontae Adams and Waller and Jacobs, right? And so yeah, you gonna do you gonna do some good numbers with that type of personnel. I mean, but the personnel he got in New Orleans is not as bad. Now I'm just gonna go based upon today because I know a lot of stuff's gonna happen. So if you have an Alvin Kamara, but we gotta see how his core things shake out, whatever. But if you're gonna have an Alvin Kamara, Kamara's on the same level as the Jacobs, maybe even a little bit better. The wide receivers, he lose Adams and Waller, but I think Olave, he was solid. We're gonna see if they keep Thomas or whether they let Thomas walk. The young boy Rashidi, uh, I think he's promising. He has potential. Traquan Smith, they've been saying he's supposed to do something for the past couple of seasons, but he hasn't really. At all the times he's been in the lineup when Michael Thomas been down, he hasn't even been heavily involved, or it's just something where they just you know don't decide to make him a number one or whatever. But the guys that you should look at, I think because Derek Carr's coming over here and he's comfortable featuring a tight end, I think Jawan Johnson, man. Jawan Johnson is a guy that I think is on the cusp of doing some phenomenal things if the offense decide to feature him. And so I think Adam Trotman is a solid number two. Both of those guys, if they featured, I think can hold them down where they should at least get 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns from the tight end position. And so that right there on the skill positions, like I said, you losing Adams, Jacobs, Waller, those dudes are studs without question. But I think the guys that he got, he's still gonna be able to put up decent numbers. And is when you playing in the dome, and then the teams that's in your division, you play in Atlanta, that's another dome. Playing Tampa Bay should might be a good weather day, and Carolina's only depending on when they schedule them, could be a bad weather day, but more than likely it's also going to be a good weather day. So it's like he's in a division where it's very winnable, and I would just say that they have a chance of doing it because we don't know what the other three guys, as far as Carolina, Atlanta, and Tampa Bay, who their quarterbacks are going to be. So that's a he got a 4-year contract, 100 million potentially guaranteed, depending on if he hit his incentives and whatnot. So it's definitely Raiders felt like they were done with him, but he had a market or whatever. So I thought he was going to choose the Jets, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't mad at him signing with this Sim sign with the Saints, you know what I'm saying? I think it might, like I said earlier, might be an underrated move. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. All right, thanks for listening.